All right, what's up, people? Yeah, that's a really cool thing, right? Bubbles. All right. So, what this video is going to be about is Buddhism 401, the next in the series. I'm sure you thought after 303 we were done, and you would be correct. We are done. Except now we just have to go a little bit deeper with it. Now, what I want to do is okay, let's just take this one here. Now, I want you to look at the fact that we're talking about a square, and then there's a circle around the square. So we're not squaring the circle, we're actually circling the square. But what we're doing is that the square represents one thing, and the circle represents something else. So what's the difference? And that's going to kind of get into the subject of this video, which is Taras. Now, you're not going to see, I in this book anyway, you're not going to see any representation of Taras explicitly. But what you will see is you will see a square, and then you will see a circle around it. In every mandala, you're going to see that same concept, a square, and then a circle around it, right? So any mandala is going to be built on that. Now, you can always tell the mandala just by that, right? What do you see? You see a square, and then you see a circle around it. Even here, I know, right? This is as close as you're going to get to the concept of Tara. Because this is a mandala, although it's not the same. What you're looking at is, you're looking at a projection, almost as if you were standing on the ground here, and you were looking forward. You were looking forward, you would see that. That's what you would see. So the square is still there. You're just seeing the face, like the square is here, right? Behind. You can even see it right there. You can even see it in the background. And that's what's really going on. So we see the mandala, how it's drawn out, of course. You're circling the square. What are you really doing? What are you really doing? It's a map. Obviously. What is it a map of? Now again, what are we looking at here? Is this a mandala? Yes, but again, look. This is the base. This is the square. And that's where the wrathful deity is standing on. Again. So to understand what a Tara is, you have to understand first Avalokiteshvara, which I've already talked upon. And that's basically the projection of the Buddha in here, which is you. And then circling that whole thing are the deities. And the deities are conscious projections. Down here we have what might be called the hell realm, the realm of hell. And up here we have the heaven realms, the realms approaching, the perfect Buddha. Of course, these are all, approximations of concepts. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to, again, and this doesn't even work out right because, see, it's a square inside of a circle, right? Encircled square. Now, where do the Taras exist? They exist within this realm right here. That very small realm right here. That's where the Taras exist, and they're rainbow. And what I mean by that is Taras are always associated with a color. And that color is basically, it's a refraction of light. So, you got these guys. They're trying hard, man. They're trying really hard to take the circle. And so where do the Taras exist? Okay, so you have the 4 gates of entry, right? And these are kind of like these are white belt entry levels. So like you're basically trying to get, this is a pyramid. This is basically a pyramid that goes up in the air. You can't really, you're looking down on it. You're basically looking down on it. And the Taras exist within these spaces outside of here, almost like the rim. And what they are is like a refracted light of consciousness. They are the female component of Avalokiteshvara, who is the Bodhisattva of compassion, but compassion doesn't mean what most people think it means. Again, go back and see my video on Avalokiteshvara. The basic idea, notes. I think we're pretty much done. Do I really need to explain any more about this? It's a square which represents all of basically our conscious way of, we box shit in. That's what we do. Our consciousness is built within these hierarchies here. This is basically samsara, but it's a very legitimized version of samsara. It's basically the samsara of mathematical and scientific understanding. So it's like pure, logic concepts. And then outside of that, you have the circle, which refuses to obey those laws. And within that very narrow, because you can see it's right here, it's that part right there that I'm drawing my hand right there. That is the domain of Tara. And again, you can have a white Tara, a green Tara, a red Tara, a blue Tara. These are basically constrained by nothing more than the imagination itself. And it is, Avalokiteshvara is obviously you. You perfected conscious-wise, like your perfect consciousness is always going to be right here. And so when you project out this projection, the square projection, that's just your concept of the physical world as it manifests. So these are the laws of physics, and they're always going to be square. They're always going to be drawn at angles. They're always going to, have all of the measurements requisite to them. And then circling the square, which of course we know is impossible, with a compass and a ruler or whatever the fuck. You can do it if you have calculus, but the idea is that you had to break free from this in order to understand the rest of this. And the breaking free, that small avenue, again, it's right here. That circle that's just outside of the fucking parameters, right here. That's the realm of Tara, which is basically consciousness breaking free. Avalokiteshvara, understanding that even like in some representations, you have the heaven realms up here and you have the hell realms down here. But that's all just, that's just depending on which way the particular bodhisattva or Buddha, the center, Nirmanakaya, is facing. Like if I'm staring out over the west gate, in other words, I'm going to see what's down here. So that then my perspective becomes limited by what I see. And again, up here, same concept. So the very idea of Tara is that it's kind of like a mediation of thought process. So it's kind of like, and again, the same way that Avalokiteshvara is almost like the Buddhist version of Jesus, that Tara is almost like the mediatrix of all of that energy to bring it in and then still push it out, because this whole thing is alive, and it's like a heartbeat. So it's like it's constantly pumping out and sucking in and pumping out and sucking in, and it's in constant motion. It's in constant motion. And when you see, it flickers. And when you understand the state of mind that you're in, your state of mind is constantly flickering, and it's constantly going here, there, everywhere. And that's what, the teaching is mindfulness. I mean, it's become passé these days for everybody to be talking about mindfulness. Well, guess what? That's old school Buddhist teaching. That's almost blue belt level teaching, mindfulness. But what they're passing for that shit these days is not really what it's all about. So again, the realm of the Tara is again right in here, right in that first circle that touches on the corners, and it goes around. That's the level of manifestation of the Tara. Within the concept of the mandala, which is basically the map of consciousness within Buddhism. So yeah, 401. I wonder what I'm going to do for 402. But anywho.